Bit of a false start then. Pressed the camera and it turned on, then turned straight back off again. I could press the button twice. Anyway, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the dark. Now it's been a while since I've been here and it's a very cold November. There's not really too much I can do. I've just seen in the previous videos we did look at the chassis. However, we're still waiting on Sean to sort the chainsaw out that he's borrowed, so we can chop these up so we can get a bit more height, because as you can see, without running the bus it's a bit low. The other thing is today it's a little bit damp under there. It's unfortunately one of the issues with being where we are and not on hard standing. I am going to try a little bit of an experiment. I'm going to remove the back seats again. I'm going to hand pump the fuel up for a little while, and then if it starts straight away, we know we have air in the system, which is what we actually suspect is going on, which is why it takes time to start. The other thing is, with it being cold, it'll be good to run the engine, get it up to a temperature, bring some temperature in here, because the windows have been left open for some reason, don't know why, but it will give a little bit more of a clue what's going on. So let me get these back seats back out again. Have been removed. Now the other thing that I want to really start cracking on and doing is actually deep cleaning this bus properly, because just look at the state of that. It's absolutely minging. Now these, they've not seized themselves in, which they appear to have, so I'm going to need a flathead screwdriver. I think flatheads is something we've got loads of, we just don't seem to have many fillets anymore. Oh look, flathead screwdriver straight away. So get these undone and we can get down to the lift pump nice and easily. Just start them and then they'll come undone by hand quite easily. We do have plans in the future to redo all the flooring and everything like that. But obviously that's in the future, that's a distance away. But we have somewhat priced it up. We know for the wood for the entire bus it's going to be about 400 quid. For the flooring, who knows, we're going to do it in 2 sections, so we have got somewhat of a plan. Bits we obviously don't know about is here, although I think that's fiberglass, I'm not too sure. Obviously this is all wood and will go rotten over time, so we're into the engine bay. It has been raining and there is some liquid in here, but what is this liquid? It's oil. I wish I hadn't done that now. So I take it that these two are leaking. I've deemed some protective stuff, so yeah, I think it's this one that's leaking the most. I think. Not too sure, but it's definitely leaking because there's oil everywhere. Seal's probably just not sat right. Let me have a feel round. The seal is there. I'm not too sure on that one. Speak of the devil, I can get them off. So let's just unsettle these two. See, that one pops up quite easily. Seal looks good on that though. Pop this one up. That's the same, the seal looks okay on it, but you can definitely see I think it's this one. That they've both been doing it by the looks of it. They might have just been slightly off, which is why they leaked on that one there. Good one down. They may have sat a bit better, they might not. Right, anyway, so on the Cummins 6BT there is a lift pump which you've seen us replace, which is down here, and to get fuel up you just press the lever on it, and if the engine is in a good position, which it isn't, you'll get fuel to come up. So to get the engine in maybe a bit better of a position, we'll just do that. Give it a quick flick on the key and it will rotate the engine, and hopefully the lift pump will be in a better position. Yeah, I can now pump fuel, there's resistance there. I've been doing that for a while and I've still not really got very good movement on the pump. So I'm just going to give it another quick kick. It might even just fire up because it's got a bit of fuel up there. That might not. So let's see if I've got a little bit more on there now. Well, that's better. Let me go. That's in a better position now, but just filling it up, I can hear the fuel moving about. I can also hear it filling. So I've got a sneaking suspicion, guys, that this is our problem here. This. So I'm going to take this top one off. Let's have a check at this washer, because I think I replaced that washer. So I'm wondering if that's not making a good airtight seal, and in which case then it's made enough seal for fuel but not for the air. So let me get a flathead. Right guys, I don't know if this is going to work well because the GoPro's just resting on the tripod. I've said it many times and I'm going to say it again, but it's something that we need more mounts. We need better camera equipment really. That'd make all the difference. But budget's a budget, and it's something that's not in the budget, fortunately. So that's off. I've got to get that off there without taking it off the fuel pump. So when it comes off the fuel pump, it's bringing the joints in. Well, that weren't going to leak, was it? It's got to be truly on there. What size is this? Ah, it's a good job I brought a 17. I wasn't going to bring a 17. Yeah, you see, we've got air here. Well, the fact the air came out there, I'm going to go with that is actually sealed. It didn't come out until I released it. There we go. So we'll do a little bit more hand pumping and see where we get it. I've got a feeling our problem is somewhere here, because the fuel's running all the way back, so line up that the problem's here rather than anywhere else. Just make sure that's tight. Move that fork pipe out of the way. That any further. See if it leaks once it's running. If it doesn't, then we're good. I don't want to overdo it. So let's go back inside and let's pump the lift pump a bit more, get a bit more fuel up, and then we will give it a go, and hopefully it should fire straight into life, which then definitely indicates where the problem is. So back to the pump here. There's a bit more light now. Yeah, I'll turn the audio up, but can you hear it? more now out of that pump. So we'll just quickly go check the filter, make sure that that's not leaking now. I've messed about with it a little bit, and then we'll hit the key. And hopefully it should just fire up into life without too much cranking. Hopefully. So yeah, we're getting no more out of there. So just give it a go. Might need a little bit of cranking and a little bit of persuasion, but we'll give it a go. Into the cam, isolator on, key on, and turn that off because we're running out of battery power as it is. Just leave the fuel pump on a second. Pump a little bit more. Engine's not in the right position. Bloody lift pump. Can't we just have an electric one? It's a bit smoky outside. Now, before the do-gooders do good, you'll find that this is condensation, and the fact that it's just burning unburnt diesel, basically. So, give it a couple of minutes and it will clear up again. We definitely have fuel in the system. It's one of the world's biggest vapes, isn't it? You can hear it. It's not on all six. You hear that random beat every now and again? It's missing. Every couple of rotations it's missing a beat. It's firing, and then it stops firing, then it's firing, stops firing. Listen. Definitely not running on all cylinders. Oh, and the doors have shut. Or they're trying to, so I can't get back in until the built up pressure. It looks like a 1997 transit van. It doesn't help because of the colder air temperature as well, because the exhaust will be getting hot, but it'll clear up. Let me in! While I'm waiting for the air pressure to build. I mean, we can excite the air pressure and make it so it builds up a little bit quicker, quite easily. Just got to press the accelerator at the back. And the car will look worse in the front. look a bit worse because of the sun, but this is interesting. So we didn't have an low air pressure light on before, and it's just come back on. So could be sucking up some moisture. It'll clear up. It's still smoking badly, but it's changed colour. Now blue. Oh no, it's going back white again. I wonder if we can have a red one as well. We'll just complete the Union Jack flag. This is what the cold weather and not running it very often does. This is why they don't like sitting. You hear that? That's the levelling valve. It's gone a bit dicky because it's been sat in one position for so long. It thinks that the lower position is its home, so it's constantly trying to adjust and do things, and it doesn't need to. It's just trying to. We do need to adjust the rear one at some point. I need to be able to get in there, and I can get in there. I just can't adjust it yet because the rear ride's too low, so it needs upping a little bit to reach the height. So yeah, the smoke's clearing up. Don't forget the sun adds to it. If you actually look at the exhaust pipe, it's clearing up. Good. So on that note, let's get our 17mm spanner, some gloves on, and let's see which injector it is that doesn't want to work properly. So 17mm spanner, we're going to undo these one at a time. If it changes the engine tone, then that injector's doing something. If it doesn't change the injector tone, the injector's doing naff all. So let's start. Just going to put you there. So this is injector 6. Definitely does something. All the extra smoke now. Different place to leave it. Injector 5. Nothing. That injector isn't doing anything. Injector 4. That's doing something. Injector 3. That's doing something. Injector 8, injector 2. Do this one in 2 steps. That does something. Injector one I've got to do from the outside, so give me 2 seconds while to shout. So injector 1 is doing very little, very little, and injector 6, no not 6, injector 5 is doing naff all. So that's 2 cylinders down out of our 6-cylinder engine. So essentially we're running on 4 cylinders. Now it might change as it gets hotter, but we're still smoking the place out. But 2 cylinders down. So all it can be is injectors. And there's no real way of doing anything about it, essentially, other than replace the injectors. But I'm pretty sure 5 have been replaced. And what would be the luck of getting 2 that are broken out of 3? Because injector 5's have 3 injectors in it. It's now on a replacement one out of a bus that was running when it went to a scrapyard. So, what does that now tell us? To be honest, not being mechanically minded, not too sure. It could be a piston seal's gone. It could be one of the tappets has gone and not working properly. We could tell you if the tappets have gone. Let's go have a look at that now. Shall I? The way you can tell whether the tappets are working or not is by taking off the cover. So this is the injector that's not working. As you can see, the tappets are going up and down perfectly fine, they're free, they're moving. So it's letting air in, it's exhausting it, not a problem. What's not happening is either the injector is not injecting the fuel into the cylinder properly, or the compression in the cylinder is not good enough. And personally, I'd lean with that injector or the fuel pipe. Now we do have, let me just put it all back. Now on this bus somewhere we do have a full set of new fuel lines, so they can go on. But I think we need that injector testing, and we need one in testing as well. Possibly a compression test on 5 and 1 to make sure that we do actually have compression, and good compression. If we have good compression, then the only thing that's left out the entire thing is the injectors. And it's probably why it's a bit difficult to start if we're 2 injectors down, because it's then relying on the other 4 cylinders to knock the engine over. And because 1 and 5 are opposite of the sequences, it's quite a gap where the engine's not going to have enough revolutional rotation to get going without the starter motor. So I think the next step for this is going to be a compression tester. I'm going to have to test the compression. I think 1 is very good, because the injector, when we first took the injector out, it was stuck, and we had to use the compression of the cylinder to pop the injector up now. 5 has always been dead loose, so it could be the sleeving on 5 is what's causing the problem, but there's no blow by, so it's sealed. So it could be, as I say, the injector's not injecting the fuel correctly, or the compression's not very good. It's a bit of a to and fro, that one. Obviously the engine's in time, you can hear it's in time. I keep getting people saying, well, maybe it's a tooth out of timing. It could be, but I don't believe it would run so well with it if it was a tooth out of time. And when we first put it all back together, it was running perfectly fine, it'd start up straight away, until we had that fuel line, the lift pump problem. So I'm leaning towards we've got a bit of air in the system, coupled with 2 dodgy injectors that aren't injecting properly, or 2 cylinders that aren't firing correctly, that are causing all the problems. Now I've got my foot steady on the end, on the throttle at the moment. Can you hear the sound of the engine? Can you hear that misfire? And we won't talk about that. Them 2 cylinders are really poorly. Last time we had this much smoke, a man poked his head over there from the council offices and he thought the hedge was on fire. I think he must have got used to it now. So now the engine's warmed up a little bit, let's just check that injector again, the cylinder, and see if we're still in the same boat. On there. So when I do it to that one, that injector is doing 3 No wonder we got a lack of power and it doesn't work properly. We got a 6-cylinder engine running on 4. I mean, it shows it'll run on 4. It might be running on all 6, but very poorly on 2 of them. So when you put your full throttle down, it's just not producing enough. So, while you've been away, I'm just going to summarise what I've done. I'm going to go into more detail another day. But I have pulled out this wire here, which, right, for reasons only known to man, I think it is. The retarder wires, which are cyan and slate and yellow, came up to the dashboard, which they're supposed to. Then they're either meant to be shorted together or separated, whichever way, to tell the gearbox whether the retarder needs to be active or bypassed. If it's being bypassed, it drives normally without a retarder. If it's on, the retarder's active. Now, the wires came from the dashboard here, went into a block down here, into a fuse, and then back up, and gave a reading of 5 volts. However, I then took the switch off the other dashboard over there, which is the retarder isolation valve switch, and when it's unisolated, so in the mode it's in now, you get 0 volts. When you're in that mode, which is retarder isolated, you get 5 volts. So what I'm wondering is, they bypassed the retarder and told it not to be active. I have no idea, but the wiring is now back to how it should be. I've been trying to look into the handbrake light one, which is that light there. That's a bit weird. On the back of the switch there's 2 metal plates. I'll show you on this dashboard. So you have these 2 here. This side's meant to be 26 volts or 24 volts. This side I believe is meant to be negative. I'm going to pin it out on here to find out properly, right? But both sides of the light are getting 24 volts. So the bulb is just acting as a fuse. It's never going to light because the bulb needs both negative and positive. So I don't get why that doesn't work, or where it's getting its voltage from. I need to look a bit further into that. But the switch signal to bring that light on is getting up there. If you take the handbrake off, one side of it that was 24 volts goes dead and the other side stays active. So according to this diagram, which might as well be made out of gibberish, 17 comes in here. So 17 is Aladdin pin 30, which could mean anything. It then goes, shares a path with all these warning lights. So 15, pod door, which works. 97, low air pressure, which works. 14 and 90, no charge warning light, that works. And what was the other one? 90 is high coolant temperature. We've never tested it. Well, we have, we've shot it at the back and that works. So we know this rail here is good. Then comes in here through a connection block to 98, which is the warning light. Handbrake on warning light. It then goes out of there via a black and white wire through a diode for kneeling systems interlock. It then also, this here is from the negative, so the handbrake, and is supposed to switch that into there, but it comes from the 0 volt rail. I thought that was the bus then for a minute. No, it's the multimeter. So that comes from the 0 volt rail into there and then across. Now my guess would be wherever this diode is what's at fault. So because it's reverse feeding 24 volts, that's meant to come down for the negative. And then you go to the annealing system, which is here, 99. Make sure 99 is still the handbrake. Yep, handbrake switch control valve, and then that's where it joins. So then there's a diode that goes up to 114, which is the relay kneel inhibit handbrake off. Now that's one thing I've not tested, so let's just see if, when I'm going to have my foot on the foot brake, I release, it comes kneel. That's return. So that's kneel. That one there. Take a handbrake off. And it won't kneel. So this is getting the right signal that the handbrake is off. So this circuit's been made. That's where that one comes in, the black and white wire from above. This circuit has been made. So the only thing that can be at fault is here, I reckon. But there's a few other things that feed in here. So from brake press switch 39, what's 39? Negative switch for inputs for brake lights. So that also feeds into here. But it also gets a feed from 112, which is the relay raise handbrake off, which does work. I am wondering if there is a fault on here, which is then causing this to malfunction as well. Because 116, what's 116? It's the sensor for the annealing system, which is below. But all this works. 111 is the relay to raise. That works. I've just proved that. I've just triggered the relay, which is on the switch. So that works. All the solenoids are working. So the fault has to lie here, or there, or there. Now the black and white wire with the diode, I reckon if I manage to find that and take that out, it might work. Now we could isolate the system by doing kneel inhibit off, raise sensor off, so that's turn the sensor off underneath, and raise handbrake off, it's not done anything, and raise. None of them have made a blind bit of difference, but I'm pretty sure they all should be diode relayed, and those, I believe, if you look at the diagrams, oh yeah, they are, they've all got the diodes in. So we got to trust that all these are good. Now we could swap them round a bit. So raise, and then put that one in the kneel inhibit. It's the last bit of the video as well, guys. So kneel inhibit is currently active, so I shouldn't be able to kneel it, but I am. Oh yeah, it breaks the relay, doesn't it? Right. Raise on sensor. I can't get it in. do it from this angle. I can actually see what I'm doing then. There we go. So that's been told to raise now. There is a few dial packs here, but I don't know what they're for. So I think we're going to have to trace that white wire out of the dashboard and see where it goes, and trace it back and see if we can figure out why there is 24 volts flowing up here when there shouldn't be, because this is negative, but the 24 volts flowing up there. Why? So I'm gonna have to look at this on the computer at home, and I'll try and suss it out, but hopefully we should get somewhere now. But anyway, fucking thing. Oh, we've stopped smoking.
You can now find us on Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, Twitter and Instagram. Hashtag MangBosses. Find us at mangbosses.com. MangBosses, we're sorting scrap.